Welcome back to AI Cast, where we decode the leadership strategies that separate industry titans from everyone else. I'm your host,
I'm your co-host.
and today we're diving into a story that will completely transform how you think about leading innovation in your organization. Picture this: a restaurant that shuts down for months every year and becomes the most successful restaurant in the world. Sounds crazy, right? But El Bulli didn't just earn Michelin stars. They revolutionized an entire industry by treating creativity like a science, not an accident. And the leadership lesson here, game-changing. But before we reveal their secret, let me ask you something. How many times have you led a brainstorming session that produced absolutely nothing useful?
Yeah, thought so. That's
Yeah.
because most leaders are approaching creativity completely wrong. So yeah, we're unpacking this incredible story of El Bulli today. I mean, this place wasn't just, a
No,
restaurant.
absolutely not. It was a global phenomenon.
Right. And it operated on this model that just seems, well, completely backwards at first glance. They somehow managed to hit peak consistency getting those Michelin stars year after year, that incredible standard. Total reliability.
Exactly. While also being this relentless engine for radical innovation, always topping the world's best lists.
Constant breakthroughs.
And the really wild part, they achieved all this by closing down for months, every single year.
Which just flies in the face of conventional
Yeah,
business wisdom.
totally. So it throws up this massive leadership challenge, doesn't it? How on earth do you keep delivering reliable, excellent results day in, day out,
Uh-huh. Keep the customers happy.
while also constantly pushing boundaries, generating those big breakthroughs, and basically disrupting yourself before someone else does?
That really is the core tension, isn't it? For pretty much every organization out there.
Seems like it.
You've got customers, and they demand reliability. They need that consistent, high-quality experience every time. That's fundamental. Builds trust.
Right. Keeps them coming back.
But then you got the market, maybe shareholders, pushing for growth. And growth nearly always means something new. New ideas, new products, new ways of doing things.
So it feels like you're being pulled in two directions.
Exactly. But what El Bulli showed, and this is what's so fascinating, is that these aren't, opposing forces you have to choose between.
Ah,
They're actually complementary. They proved that creativity can absolutely thrive, maybe even be amplified, inside a really structured, disciplined system.
so it's not consistency or innovation, it's consistency and innovation together.
Precisely. Mastering both, not sacrificing one for the other.
That's a really key point because, we often think of creativity as, I don't know, this sort of mystical lightning bolt.
Yeah, like waiting for the muse to strike.
Right, you wait for that sudden flash of genius. But El Bulli, clearly, they weren't just sitting around hoping for inspiration.
No, definitely not.
So what was their approach, their secret sauce, if you will? How did they manage that level of innovation year after year?
Well, the quote-unquote secret was that it was incredibly systematic.
Systematic creativity. Seems like a contradiction.
It does, but it worked. Instead of relying on chance or serendipity, they actually engineered the process. So when the restaurant closed its doors, it wasn't for a long holiday.
No beach time.
Not primarily, no. It was a strategic shutdown. For about 6 months every year, the whole team, led by the head chef Ferran Adria,
Right.
they shifted gears completely, away from serving customers and onto intensive R&D, research, experimentation, developing totally new concepts from scratch.
Wow. 6 months dedicated just to that.
Full time. It was a massive, deliberate investment in future innovation, not just a break.
That's a huge commitment. And it wasn't just about blocking out calendar time, was it? They did more.
Oh, absolutely. Critically, they set up a dedicated innovation lab, sometimes called their workshop or research kitchen, and it was physically separate from the main restaurant
Separate. Why was that important?
because it created a safe space. Imagine a kitchen where the chefs weren't under pressure to get tonight's dinner service perfect.
No orders coming in, no demanding customers waiting.
Exactly. They could collaborate freely, try absolutely wild ideas, fail quickly.
Fail cheaply, too, I bet.
Precisely. They could refine concepts in this controlled environment before anything ever got near a paying customer. That separation was absolutely key.
So they could take huge creative risks without jeopardizing the day-to-day excellence.
That's it. They built the time, and they built the space for innovation,
Mm-hmm.
deliberately shielding it from the immediate pressures of just running the business.
It really is staggering when you think about it, shutting down your core operation to grow.
Counterintuitive is an understatement.
Most leaders would run screaming from that idea, but El Bulli made it their superpower. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, about your own organization.
Hmm.
If you could actually carve out that kind of dedicated, focused time for pure innovation, like really detach it from the daily grind, what could your team achieve? What new ideas might surface?
And this really leads us to a fundamental shift in how we should think about creativity itself.
How so?
Elbowly's success is powerful proof that creativity isn't just some, innate talent that only a few creative types possess.
Like you're either born with it or you're not.
Right. Instead, it's actually a learnable leadership skill, something you can cultivate, practice, apply systematically, just
Yeah.
like any other business discipline.
Okay, that's a big statement. Creativity as a skill, like project management or financial analysis.
Yes. And if it is a skill, that raises a really important question.
How do we learn it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do we learn it ourselves? And how do we teach it? How do we foster it in our teams?
Which is where this unlocking creativity framework fits in, right? It takes those El Bulli principles and makes them applicable anywhere.
Precisely. It aims to translate that systematic approach into something any organization can use.
Hmm.
And critically, it's not just theory.
No textbook learning.
Well, there's learning, but the emphasis is strongly on being hands-on, very practical. The source material really highlights this. You bring a real problem from your own work.
Okay, something concrete.
Yes, and you actually work through that problem using the framework, step by step. Just like the El Bulli chefs iterating in their lab.
That makes sense. Applying it makes it stick. So what are the steps in this framework?
It breaks down the creative problem-solving journey into 5 distinct stages. It's a methodology designed to sort of demystify the whole innovation thing.
All right, let's hear them. Step 1.
Step 1 is defining complex problems. And this is way more than just, saying, we have a problem.
Okay.
It's about learning to dissect these really intricate, sometimes fuzzy challenges into their core, manageable parts. Think about Obilia again.
Right.
Their problems weren't just make good food. They were super specific, like how do we capture the absolute essence of a single ingredient, say a tomato, in one intense bite?
Much more focused.
Or how do we make something savory look sweet?
Yeah.
That act of reframing the problem, getting really precise, can totally unlock new ways of thinking. It forces you to ask, are we even solving the right problem here?
Which we often don't, right? We jump to solutions.
Constantly. We see a symptom and rush to fix it without understanding the root cause. How often do we really truly understand the nuances before brainstorming?
Guilty as charged. Okay, so define the problem deeply first. What's step 2?
Step 2 is collecting information. Once the problem is clear, you systematically gather all the relevant data, insights, knowledge, anything that can fuel creative thought.
Like market research.
That could be part of it, but often it's much broader. Look at El Bullis. They weren't just reading cookbooks.
No.
They were digging into science, history, art, industrial design. Adria had that famous quote, "Now we will eat knowledge."
Eat knowledge. I like that.
It meant consuming everything, understanding food physics, cultural contexts, new scientific findings. The idea is the more diverse your inputs, the more unexpected connections your brain can make, more jumping off points for new ideas.
Feed your brain with weird stuff, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Okay, so you've defined the problem, you've gathered all this diverse knowledge. Step 3 must be the fun part, generating ideas.
The brainstorming bit.
Exactly, but with structure. This step offers specific techniques for ideation, for pushing past obvious answers, for really thinking differently. It's not passive waiting.
So active generation.
Yes. You're actively connecting the dots between the information you gathered and the specific parts of the problem you defined.
Yeah.
Techniques like scamper or mind mapping or analogies.
What did El Bullis use?
One famous one was deconstruction. They'd take a classic dish, break it down into its core elements and flavors, and then reassemble it in a completely novel, surprising way. It's about deliberately forcing those aha moments.
Okay, makes sense. But then, and I know I've felt this, you generate tons of ideas, whiteboards full, sticky notes everywhere.
The idea deluge.
Yeah. And suddenly you feel more confused than when you started. How do you sift through it all? Decide what's actually good.
That brings us perfectly to step 4, evaluating ideas. This is absolutely
Like
crucial.
a filtering stage.
Exactly. It's about developing a sharp, critical lens to assess your ideas, looking at feasibility, potential impact, desirability, turning that raw quantity into focused quality.
Because leaving a brainstorm buzzing but with no clear direction is frustrating.
Hugely frustrating. This step gives you the tools and criteria to narrow things down strategically, to pick the ideas that are not just creative, but actually viable and likely to succeed. Like Bulli testing relentlessly, does it taste amazing? Yes. But also, can we make it consistently? Does it fit our vision? Does it deliver the right surprise?
Okay, so evaluate rigorously. What's the final step?
The fifth step is navigating calculated risks. Because even the best ideas often involve stepping into the unknown.
Innovation isn't risk-free.
Ever.
Yeah.
So this step is about making informed decisions, taking smart, measured risks to actually bring those creative visions to life. It's not about being reckless. It's about strategic courage.
And getting others on board, I imagine.
That's a huge part of it. This step also covers that vital leadership piece.
Hmm?
How do you influence people, maybe stakeholders or your team, to embrace these necessary risks? How do you challenge the status quo effectively and turn that inevitable resistance into support?
So it's about execution and influence, too.
Absolutely. Taking an idea from concept to reality requires navigating those internal dynamics and making bold but calculated bets.
This whole framework, it really does flip the script on creativity.
It demystifies it.
Yeah. It's not about waiting for that muse, that lightning bolt.
Yeah.
It's about having a process, a method you can actually use and repeat.
A methodology.
Exactly. And as a leader, that's empowering, isn't it? It means you can stop just hoping for innovation in your organization.
You can actively lead it.
You can teach your team this is a skill like any other, give them the tools, the framework to make breakthroughs happen consistently, not just by accident.
And if you zoom out, think about the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
This transforms how we approach solving problems, how we drive growth.
It's more fundamental.
Definitely.
Hmm.
When leaders master this kind of systematic innovation, they're not just reacting to changes in the market or trying to survive.
They're driving the change.
They are genuinely shaping their industries, defining what comes next, moving from reactive to truly proactive, creating the future, not just responding to it.
So here's your leadership challenge. Stop waiting for lightning to strike in your organization. The next time your team faces a complex problem, remember Bulli's approach: create space for systematic exploration and lead your people to treat creativity like the learnable skill it is. At Monarch, we've built our entire Unlocking Creativity learning path around these leadership principles because we know that in today's business landscape, the leaders who master systematic innovation don't just survive, they shape entire industries. If you want to dive deeper into how you can lead these frameworks in your organization, visit leadwithmonarch.com. And if this video changed how you think about leading creativity, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments. What's one creative challenge you're leading your team through right now? This is AI Cast, where we turn leadership insights into action. See you next time.